All right, this is Caleb Troutwain.
Whoa, another good name.
Yeah, something's going on here.
Yes, why?
Damon's doing name stuff over here.
He will live very
How long? Yeah, exactly.
I have a cool name generator. His question is, why do we hate QuickTime events, but we love games like The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls? I await you answer. Is that what he's saying? Like, this is how it works. I await you answer.
Yeah.
Who says we hate QuickTime events?
That's what I was gonna say. That's what threw me off, too.
We hate bad ones.
A lot of people give QuickTime events
But we hate
crap.
we hate how they're used in a lot of games where you have control over your character in an entire game, but then the final boss fight, like Resident Evil 5 did that. What was the one with the really bad QuickTime?
A lot of games.
5, where you're
It's
punching
pretty
the
much-
boulder?
Pretty much seems like any AAA game now, AAA action game has QuickTime events in it.
Sure.
now.
And they use them in weird ways, like. So they have these game systems, like in Tomb Raider is an example where you shoot dudes the entire game, but then shooting the final dude is a weird QuickTime event.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good example. I don't know how it became a commonplace
Shenmue.
thing for just every AAA
sure,
game
yeah.
to use. I don't know.
It's the stuff that would have been cutscenes, and they found a way to make it interactive and cinematic without having to develop. Like, if your game doesn't have a really elaborate hand-to-hand combat system that you don't want to use for the whole game, but you still want to have your character fight somebody else, like you can do it one time with like QuickTime events, and then they don't need to do it for the rest of the game.
Totally.
But then it becomes a crutch.
Yeah, I mean, he references The Walking Dead, right? That's what you're saying. The whole game is like that.
Yeah.
So at no point does it feel weird that you've been running around, third person, first person shooting as Lee and doing this, and then all of a sudden you're like, now I have to figure out how to, no, it's not how it is.
Right. Yeah, you never get kind of dragged out of that world that you're already used to.
Because it feels like fireworks. It feels silly where you press one button and then you see all this crazy stuff happen on screen. Your character's flipping around and jumping off poles and stuff. And it's
Yeah, they can be done well, but they are done poorly.
And I think typically Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us, Telltale stuff, does them well.
They're also getting better. Wolf Among Us is really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the worst examples of them, and that's why they become sort of synonymous with bad overall, are the ones where they're 3 minutes long, you can't skip them, you lose, and you go back to the beginning of the sequence.
Jesus.
Those make me want to not play.
It feels
those
like
games.
Dragon's Lair. Where you're just not quite-
totally. Where it's like left, right, up, and I have to memorize the sequence of events. Then it totally breaks it for me. So yeah, as long as those get better, then I don't really mind them.
When a
being
game's
more
at its best, the controls are invisible. Like your brain is focused on the game, and you have a controller in your hand, but you're not thinking about X and Y and R and L.
The QuickTime events put the controls
That's
up
right.
on
They're making you think about the controller you have in your hand and take you out of the moment.
Well said.
Thanks.